expert in envelopes?
My name is Miss Mary Jackson. I work at the Envelope Museum as well as the National Post Office.
Excellent.
Headquarters.
Of course. And, I'm sorry, you finished?
Oh, yes, I was finished. Yes.
And you, ma'am?
So my name's Layla, and I'm from Biloxi, Mississippi, and I work down by the Piggly Wiggly, but right next door, there's a post office. So
And
I
this
think
is
that
how
explains everything.
Okay. And you, sir, and your name and how you gained your expertise in envelopes.
My name is John Q. Bubble Wrap. I come from a long line of bubble wraps. Then basically it's a very straight family tree, but we are very into envelopes. And
Very
of all kinds.
I could see that. I didn't really know that was a last name, but you learn
It's
something
sweet.
new every day. And we're going to learn something new today, so I'm sure you all have pressing questions about envelopes. So, who has the first question? Yes, ma'am.
Do you live from the left or the right? I do have to say there have been many recent studies on this question, so I'm glad that you brought that up. Now, I prefer the self-sealing envelopes where you do not have to lick at all. That's just my preference because when you have so many envelopes to seal, which everyone does, your tongue can get sore. So I prefer the self-sealing, but if you have to lick, I say left to right just because that's how you read, and you read the letter, so it just makes sense. So you guys.
That's interesting. So I feel like I don't like the self-stick. I like the flavored. Okay, if you can buy the flavored, and we do sell them on aisle 2 in Piggly Wiggly, you get the flavored, and then it really doesn't matter which way you lick. Because, reading, that's a good point, but left to right, right to left, it tastes the same. That's what I'm trying to say. It's all good.
Yes, sir.
In my experience, the best way to do is kind of turn a little and lick from bottom to top. That's the direction you always go. Trust me.
So it appears it's a matter of personal taste. All right, on this table, a question about envelopes. Yes, sir.
So we witnessed this kind of very important and very rapid transition from the analog to the digital envelope. What's next? I'm just curious.
What comes after the digital envelope?
Well, I have to say that having worked at the post office headquarters, we actually encourage you to go back to the analog. Don't think about moving on to the digital. Go back to the original.
Very old school.
So, I'm just going to be honest, I don't know what the digital thing is, but I would say the armadillo one. The one you said. Yes.
Armadillo. That's right.
The best thing to do is actually go to landfill and get old envelopes, because digital is not the future. Landfills are forever.
Forever. I think this may be part of the problem. From this table over here, pressing question on envelopes. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Question on envelopes, please.
Self-sticking everything. What do you think about that?
What do we think about that? Self-sticking.
Well, I think it would hike sales, so go for it.
I'd like to bring up sales because self-sticking, we have a lot of sticky things there. We got the sticky notes, we got the post-its, those sell very well. And then there's a whole aisle of gum. We know that's sticky. So, you raise a very interesting and deep point.
With summer coming up, I find I'm getting more self-sticky all the time.
Next question from this table, please. Pressing question about envelopes.
What do you do when the card is just a little bit too big for the envelope?
What do you do when a card is a little bit too big?
I'd say buy another envelope. Buy two, because sometimes the first one ribs, or you write it wrong, or you never know. So maybe 3. And with that first envelope, throw that out because they age. You'll just want to get another one later too.
So I'd say, don't even bother with the envelope. If it doesn't fit, I mean, we just write the first name on there, and they know everybody.
In my experience, well, I've never really had the experience where it's too big. So, yeah, I got nothing for you.
All right, last question.
What's the most emotionally significant envelope in your life?
Most emotionally significant envelope in your life.
Oh man, that's a hard one. I would have to go with my paycheck envelope. I get so excited. That's probably the most emotional for me.
Hey, you work with the post office. You don't have direct deposit?
We're thinking about instituting that change, but change takes time, so maybe in the next century we will implement that, but just have your patience.
Ah.
This is a timely question. My boyfriend Billy Bob, he just broke up with me. That was very emotional because he wrote it in a letter and it came in an emotional envelope. That was bad. I don't want to talk about it.
Once I wrote a letter pretending to be this guy Billy Bob. It made me cry. There were tears on it when I was done. I was in the moment.
I'm sorry to bring it back up. I'm sorry. Shame on you for asking that question.